Well, Claire, I have several different varieties of plants here that I want you to look at. Some are going to work for you and some might not. Now, here's the first one. This is a very common plant here in New England they use for hedging. It's called arborvitae. Okay. It's going to get up 30 feet tall and maybe 15 or 20 feet wide, so it's going to get big.
It's a big one.
Problem with it, it's multi-stemmed, and in the wintertime, the snow can get down here and cause it to break apart. Another problem is the deer love it, and they'll come in and eat on this pretty good. Now, behind you, I have one of my favorite trees. This is a fastigiate white pine.
Now, what's a fastigiate?
Fastigiate means tight or columnar. Instead of a spreader, it just grows up and slowly makes a nice shape to it. This is going to get up and be a big tree, 40 or 50 feet tall and 15 or 20 feet wide.
Oh, wow, that's
This
huge.
is great for like screening a building or some view that's really bad you want to get rid of.
Okay.
But when you talk about bigger plants like this, it gets pricey. This plant costs $250 to $300 to buy.
It's a little out of my budget.
Well, let's look at some other options. First off, over here, I have some yews for you. This is called a Hickseye yew. It's really, really tight. We use this a lot in really formal hedges.
Okay.
Well, what I like to use instead of it is a Hatfield yew. Look how broad this one is.
I was just gonna say, I like the look of this one.
Yeah, it really takes up a lot of space. This plant wants to get up 10 or 15 feet tall, maybe 8 or 10 feet wide,
Okay.
but it's easily controlled by hand pruning. You can give it a really nice shape.
Excellent.
Now, you have to protect this from the deer because they like this one too.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to have all evergreen plants like this one. You can have deciduous plants, which are plants that drop their leaves. You could use a viburnum or something like this, a lilac.
I love lilacs.
Yeah, and when you're out on your patio, it's going to be warm enough that this will have leaves on it and it'll be screening.
And it'll
but
be pretty.
It'll also give you those big purple flowers.
Excellent. Sounds good.
Now, these are run, even the Hatfield or this will run about $75, moderately priced.
Definitely fits my budget.
We'll take some of these grasses and we'll use them in between to screen things off.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Now, I think the arborvitae and the white pine are going to be just too big for your yard.
I agree.
But I think a combination of the yew, the lilac, and the grass will work out just right.
Sounds good. Let's give it a whirl.
Let's lay them out.
So is this rain going to be a problem for us, Roger?
Not a problem for me, problem for you?
I think I can work with it.
Okay. Now, I love to lay out the plants and get them in just the right spot before we start digging. You notice I put a few of them on the outside of the fence. That's because I just don't want them running in a straight line here. I want them random, like in nature.
Looks good to me, but they look a little spaced out.
Well, that's part of planting on a budget. You know, in some cases I might come in and put 5 plants in here. Then it would fill in more, but here we only have 3. We're gonna let them grow in.
Sounds good to me.
You ready to start planting?
Let's do it.
You take a mark it all the way around, all right? So you know where your hole is gonna be.
I think I hit a rock. I got it.
First, we're gonna skim the grass off the surface, and then we're gonna dig a hole for each plant 2 to 3 times wider than the container.
Sounds good.
Now, the key to proper planting is to dig a big hole because we want these roots to be able to get out and get established.
Okay.
So that's all nice and set in there. I've teased the roots out here. What I'm gonna do is set the plant in place. Now, there's 2 things I wanna do. I want the best face out, so I'm gonna turn this a little bit. There we go. Now, the other thing is we always want the ball to be slightly higher than the surrounding area. And that's important. That'll really help the plant get established properly and those roots grow out. Now, take a couple scoops of that loam and compost mix. Put them right in with the existing soil. Give me another one. Now I'm gonna put a little starter fertilizer on there. Take and mix that together and put it in around the shrub. Okay, scoop that right in here. Fill in around the sides, but don't put any soil on top of the ball. Even though it's raining, the soil is really dry, so I want you to soak it so it goes down around the roots and gets rid of all the air pockets. Now, it's really important that you water these plants once a week so that they'll thrive, okay?
You got it, boss.
I like to poke a few holes around the root ball to make sure the water gets all the way down. 2 to 3 inches of mulch will keep the weeds down and the soil from drying out.
Wow, this yard looks great.
Well, it looks pretty good right now, but when the yews fill in and the grasses grow out and that lilac's in bloom, it's gonna look fantastic.
Thanks a lot, Roger.